Been a unique week in Tampa. Lots of cool stuff going on. Freezing cold Gasparilla and freezing cold hockey game today for our Tampa Bay Lightning. But happy to have you on the show and keep you updated on everything that's going on in the Tampa Bay real estate market. I'm Andrew Duncan with the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. Excited to have Brandon Roberts with New Legacy Homes today with us on the show. Brandon is a client of ours. We've got a beautiful home on the market on Leona that I'll talk about in a little bit. But I just wanted to start, just talking to Brandon a little bit about New Legacy, about what they do. And I would imagine you guys this week probably aren't putting plans in place to heat driveways, right? There's people out there worried about snow. And I have a builder friend up north and they do that. They literally heat the driveways, and a little dusting I don't think counts for needing the heated driveways. So
no, but this might be the first time that anybody who's got any of the heated floors we've put in the past
are using them.
Yeah,
fireplaces too. I have a couple
yep.
fireplaces at my house, and this would be maybe the second time and the other time I used it was literally like for vanity. It was actually a date when I was single. I was like lighting the fireplace, trying to set the mood. Not a lot of fireplace use in Tampa, so probably not a lot of heated floor use too. But nonetheless, happy to have you on. You guys have been a builder, custom home builder in Tampa for a long time. Build an incredible product. I love the uniqueness of your product. We'll talk about the house on Leona in a little bit, but what was it when you guys decided to kind of build the product that you build? And New Legacy builds a high-end luxury custom product that's also got a lot of modern kind of urban feel to it. Mm-hmm. I think that's been a trend in design. And when you guys started building products kind of down that lane, is it that you saw a gap in the industry, that you saw that like a lot of builders are maybe building more standard Mediterranean type stuff, and because I feel like when I see your houses, I know it's a New Legacy house, and I know that it's better but different. It doesn't look like a lot of the other builders.
Yeah, I mean, when we got started 11 years ago, we were looking in the South Tampa market specifically. Kind of saw, like you said, a market type that really wasn't being hit quite as well as it needed to be. There's been plenty of good luxury builders, custom builders in South Tampa that have great names and have been there forever. And 10 years ago, 11 years ago, it was kind of having a renaissance in South Tampa. Things were starting to move again. People were coming into this area. Obviously, COVID helped push that along faster.
Yes.
With the way Florida was, this became a very big destination area, and that made South Tampa even, more demanding.
Yep.
So there was just a kind of a soft spot in the market for homes that were a little less expensive than the big guys,
right? But
weren't just existing homes. It was there was an opportunity for new homes in that area. Not a lot of people in that segment. And when my business partner and I broke off to do it, we came from a production world.
Yep.
And you learn a lot of things not to do.
Correct. Yeah. World. Especially because production world is all about turning them over, making it, get them as quick as you can, turning over inventory, getting the cost down as cheap as you can get it to mass produce, right? And mass buy lots, and I won't mention the bill. I know the builder you're with, and I won't mention them, but I've heard this before. You learned some things that would apply, but you also learned a lot of things that you almost have to do the opposite of, especially when you're building a custom higher end product for a customer that, has distinct tastes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was kind of when we started, we thought there's three things, that we mainly need to make sure we've seen too much in the production world, and just knowing the market type we were trying to hit is that the home needed to be as low maintenance, if not no maintenance in a lot of cases as possible, which goes opposite of what the production would do. If it was get it in, and as long as it worked long enough,
then you were happy.
It was acceptable. And warranted on the back end. It needed to be sustainable products, needed to be a very low-end warranted product and maintenance product, and then also new stuff. Always trying to introduce new product, look at new ways of doing stuff. Again, production world, you get stuck in doing the same thing over and over and over because
so now like new designs, new features, and that's the thing that I love about your designs too, is that they're because you do sell homes where you've done custom builds, and then you have some where you build on a lot and you sell it as kind of a spec. And but having built enough of the custom homes, you get a good understanding and a solid kind of baseline of what the consumer expectation is. So you get as much of that as you can into a, you know, $2 or $3 million, you know, or more than that house, that isn't, you know, built to a customer specific standards. It's already done for them. And I think, you know, the other thing that I found, you know, especially having been in the real estate business, this is my 21st year, especially earlier in my career, and that 10 to 11 year mark probably sounds about right. But early in my career, it was either you were buying, especially if someone was in the luxury space, you were going to buy an older home and renovate it, or you were going to have a custom home built. There weren't many builders that were willing to kind of, you know, bite off a $3 million, you know, house that didn't already have a buyer attached to it. So it is something that's unique, but I also think that so many consumers don't have the vision and need that. They need the plug and play, move right in, because they also either don't want to go through the timeline for the whole full design, or they just don't, they need somebody else to pick it for them because they don't have the vision. So there is clearly you guys have seen that. And how many homes a year in that space? What are you guys' goals? How many do you do a year? What is your forecast look like continuing to build in that space?
Yeah, I mean, obviously things have regulated in the market over the last couple of years.
Right.
Everybody's fairly well aware of that.
Yeah.
So in a regular market type, you know, over this next few years, you know, our goal and our plan is to always try to keep those custom builds in a 8 to 10 range a year.
Yep.
And then, as you mentioned, we'll continue to do some model type homes to obviously show off what we can do, give our designers, you know, or give a designer an opportunity to display the things she can do.
Right.
And obviously helps keep an even flow for us too.
Right.
When things are a little slow in the
when you don't have a
market.
custom home build, you've got stuff going on to keep your people busy, which I think, again, so not on the same scale, but I do a lot of remodel flips. And so there are times where I might look at a remodel flip and I don't have as much going on, and maybe the margins aren't great, and maybe I don't love the numbers, but we buy it because we want to keep our people busy and kind of keep churning and keep moving. So some similarities, just in much lower price point, you know, with those homes are in a different price range. What are some of the unique things that you've seen change with, you know, kind of home design for luxury homes? One thing that I've noticed that I think really stands out, obviously the urban and modern design, but smart home technology. Smart home technology seems like it is just, you know, massively, you know, it is just exploding in terms of the features and things that you can program and you can, you know, that you can integrate into a house.
Yeah, and we provide in our base spec, or, you know, in our base home, when we either provide custom or if we're building a model, we do a nice, which is the old Elan system, brain in the background, you know. So but people really focus absolutely on the safety, security, you know, being able to use cameras, door locks, garage doors, you know, those type of things. Everybody's part of and wanting to be using front door, you know, unlock your front door using the video camera, and the technology obviously goes to being able to do all your audio, video, and stuff.
Yeah,
we see a lot of people.
It's advancing so much, even from a standpoint of voice recognition to turn on, to put scenes in the house for certain lighting, to turn on the pool, to turn on the waterfall for the pool, the sauna, the hot tub, the you know, drapes and blinds opening and closing, you know, with voice recognition. You know, it really has evolved into, you know, what kind of cool stuff do you want? It can probably be done. Yeah. It's just a matter of how much it's being done and how expensive it will cost. You know, I even saw something where now you've got even showers and bathtubs can be turned on remotely. So for example, you wanted to you wanted a bath when you come home and you wanted to walk right into it and not wait for the water to run. There's even technology now it's just evolved so much. Instantly recognizing your vehicle to open your gate or your garage, you know,
just
all
geotagging you, knowing you're 4 blocks away. And
I have the feature, although I didn't like it. So I have it on my house where, Yeah, we're literally like I can walk up to the door and it knows I'm there and it unlocks. The reason I didn't like it is because one, somebody could steal my phone.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't like was that what would happen is if I'm walking around or doing stuff outside, it was constantly unlocking. Like if I left the garage sometimes, and I went out to grab the trash, but I didn't actually go up the steps, and I was going in and out of the garage, and sometimes it would recognize me being close enough to where it would do that. So I actually turned it off, but I do have the capability. So yeah, smart home technology is amazing. Anything else besides like the smart home stuff that you feel like has just really evolved the last few years in terms of requests from your luxury clients?
It's been a very big change and push to having full secondary kitchens almost in their pantry, butler's pantry, dirty kitchen, caterer's kitchen.
Yeah. Cool.
Areas where, entertaining obviously is a popular thing at this price point for sure too. So the ability to be able to still entertain, still show off your, gorgeous gourmet kitchen, but still be serving food, but it looks like you never used it.
Correct.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Like, and so it's like you're wanting to preserve how amazing your kitchen looks without actually having to use it. So I don't actually use mine anyway, so it's good. I'm the king of takeout. So, but my girlfriend actually works for a home builder, more of a track home builder, and we don't have time to cook. She works a lot. I work a lot. So we're DoorDash and Uber Eats. So my house is 6 years old. My kitchen still looks perfect. It's barely used, so but nonetheless I get that approach, and I do see it pretty common. And